Shalom, shalom, with all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh, Shabbat, Hashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, GMS, who will teach what? Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and faith and all sincerity. Hoping to get up out this hell, to y'all say shalom. Yeah, I believe the title for this is "Don't Let Normality Fool You," because something was in there. Anyway, it's up whenever somehow I can get a chance to take a look at it. But this is something that just came out recently, and it's China and Russia join forces against U.S. over Iran war claims. Okay, and what the screen that you have to the left is just an illustration. It's just a picture of what is to come. Okay, and the men of Lord can't stress it enough that war must happen. Okay, the MOTB must happen in order for us to get to the kingdom. And so, without further ado, I let this play. Lord well, follow through with a few scriptures, and Lord willing, you're edified. Hold on, go back. Lock it. There you go. Check that out. Looks like a big meeting. And guess who's not there? Okay, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So you got China on one side, and you have Edomites on the other side, and they're trying to come together. But it's not. It's like oil and water. It's not going to work. There's no way this is going to work out because first of all, both of them are heathens. Okay, you got Moab, which are heathens, and then you have on the right hand side Despicable Me, which is Esau Edom and his cronies. But
the world remains on an edge, with US President Donald Trump threatening the resumption of the Iran war. However, remember, he's now facing a fierce pushback from two world powers. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin joined hands in Beijing to call out all acts of unilateral bullying and strengthen their comprehensive partnership. Now, these two visuals that you see on your screen depict a story. Just 5 days ago, a different person sat across the chair with Xi Jinping. Just like Putin, he received a grand welcome as well outside Beijing's Great Hall of People with a 21-gun salute and military band playing the national anthems of the two countries. However, the difference in outcomes has been stark. While no agreement was signed.
Let's pause and let's find out what 21-gun salute. A 21 gun salute is the highest and most universally recognized military honor rendering to the heads of state national flags during specific national holidays. Today, the 21 gun salute symbolizes profound respect, reverence, and peaceful intentions. And that's a goddamn lie. There is no peace, only war. All these heathens are at their end. There's only one way to go, and that's through the door of war. Okay? And, before the hopefully elect are redeemed, the MOTB has to be passed as well. So,
between Trump and Xi, China and Russia signed 40 agreements, signaling the significance of their bilateral ties. In fact, in a strong indirect signal to Donald Trump, Chinese President Xi Jinping told his Russian counterpart that the world faces the risk of regressing to the law of the jungle. He also warned of unilateral and hegemonic counter-currents running.
Law of the jungle. Let's check that out. Law. Law of the jungle. It's an idiom describing a ruthless environment where normal rules, ethics, and laws do not apply. Now, who's the king, okay, of a ruthless environment where normal rules, ethics, and laws do not apply? Esau Edom. He's been ruling this world in wickedness for quite some time now. Okay. And right now he sees that his kingdom is under threat. Okay. Let's put it like that. He don't see his kingdom going down. He's too goddamn stupid for that. All the way up to the elite. He's too stupid to see, to not see that his kingdom has fallen. There's under threat for sure. It hasn't failed yet. We're still here in this goddamn hellhole.
Running rampant in the world. Listen in.
Unilateralism and hegemony pose grave dangers, and the world faces the risk of regressing to the law of the jungle. As permanent members of the UN Security Council, China and Russia must resolutely fulfill our responsibilities as major powers, uphold the authority of the United Nations.
Let's look at that face.
China and Russia must.
Bitch, you ain't got no choice. Pull the trigger. Let's go. Let's get it. You don't want to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is making you do it. You don't want to, but you got to do it anyways. You must take part in this final war. He's sorry as shit too. He's looking sad. No, you got to get it, buddy. We count on you fucking idiots to start this war and to push prophecy 10 steps forward. We count on you to retaliate. You're gonna retaliate. You ain't got no other choice.
must resolutely fulfill our responsibilities as major powers, uphold the authority of the United Nations and international fairness and justice, and oppose all acts of unilateral bullying and attempts to reverse the course of history.
Tello, so your wireless service is driving you crazy? Tello me about...
Now, as part of their joint declaration on the emergence of a multipolar world, China and Russia stressed that the US-Israeli strikes on Iran seriously undermine stability in West Asia. They also opposed Trump's Golden Dome project for increasing the risk of combat in space and transforming it into an arena of armed confrontation. According to them, this proposed missile interceptor system posed a threat to global strategic stability. And this is not all. Remember, both countries also called out
Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 25, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. And so, why they doing all the stuff that they're doing is in vain. What do the scriptures say? What does Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai say about this? Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai says there will be war.
the US for its irresponsible policy in not renewing the START treaty. During Putin's bilateral visit, both sides agreed to enter their 25-year friendship treaty and signed a slew of agreements covering areas like trade, technology, media, and global governance.
Here's another one for you. This is 2 Ezra, chapter 13, verse 31. And the war shall be multiplied, and the earth shall stand in fear. Just like Elder Howard from the North Carolina camp, he's got a tracker on all the wars that are going on currently. You know, small skirmishes, still war, but all the wars that are happening, a lot that we don't even know about because we're not in that part of the world. But yeah, it's happening.
Governance. In fact, they also highlighted how bilateral trade has climbed by 20% from January till April, exceeding $200 billion for the third consecutive year. While Trump did not get any assurance from Xi as far as his stance on Hormuz is concerned, Iran featured high in the talks with Putin. Xi told his Russian counterpart that West Asia was at a critical juncture and called for a comprehensive ceasefire. Xi Jinping said that resuming hostilities is inadvisable. On his part, meanwhile, Vladimir Putin assured China of uninterrupted supplies of oil, gas and coal. He also agreed to promote China's Belt and Road Initiative to form a greater Eurasian partnership. Listen in.
Today's talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping were highly productive and useful. A substantial package of documents was signed, including joint statements by the two heads of state outlining our shared positions and areas of cooperation across virtually all key sectors. Together with President Xi, we set new ambitious goals for advancing Russian-Chinese cooperation.
Now, the bonhomie between Putin and Xi was clearly on display throughout this visit. For instance, they toured an exhibition of large frame photographs dedicated to their past meetings. Remember that they have met more than 40 times, signifying their close ties. Both leaders also held informal talks over tea before Putin's visit drew to a close. Now, Donald Trump had a rather interesting take on Putin's China visit. While remaining silent on the outcomes of their respective visits, the American president sought to highlight how his China visit was much more grand in scale. Take a listen.
What do you make of President Xi meeting with Putin this week?
Well, he told me he was going to. I think it's good. I get along with both of them, but I think it's good. I don't know.
Nah. Look at this here. the Lord blessed the children of Israel to see the last days that we're in, the last days of the end of the last days. And picked a pompous prick, arrogant, and prideful Edomite to do so. You know, that's a spare on every Edomite, but this guy takes the cake. He's playing his role, though. He's playing his role.
Of the ceremony was quite as brilliant as mine. I watched. I think we topped them.
Well, the visit also raised some key questions. While Donald Trump claims that Xi Jinping backed him on not sending arms to Iran, will this assurance hold, given the fragility of the ceasefire that we've seen in the past few weeks? Also, with Putin repeatedly offering to take in Iran's enriched uranium, can Russia prove to be the ice?
Just like the elder mentioned, they keep kicking this can down the road. Pretty soon, the can is going to hit a wall, and you're not going to be able to kick it anymore. You must engage.
Breaker in the West Asia impasse? With China and Russia reinforcing their ties at this critical juncture, it is of course apparent that Donald Trump is on a back foot.
Battleship sunk.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has concluded the final leg of his five-nation diplomatic tour with a visit to Rome, where India and Italy not only reaffirmed their growing strategic partnership, but they also sent a strong message about their shared vision for global connectivity, trade, technology, and economic.
Now, if you can see this with a spiritual eye, every piece is falling into place right now for this big main event that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is orchestrated. And he's gonna create a masterpiece with the millions of bodies that he's gonna pile up.
Cooperation, particularly in the India-Middle East economic corridor. In fact, it also had the now very viral Melody Toffee video by the two leaders. We'll talk about it in just a bit, but let's give out the details of what exactly happened during the visit. Prime Minister Modi held extensive talks with the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, with both leaders addressing a joint press conference and describing the India-Italy relations as entering a new phase of strategic cooperation.
इंडिया ईयू एफटीए के समापन में इटली से मिले सहयोग के लिए मैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर मेलोनी का विशेष रूप से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। हम मिलकर इसके जल्द से जल्द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन।
One thing I know, okay, is Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has put on the spirit, put on my spirit to understand that a lot of these events are going to happen back to back, okay? And the grand finale is Yahushua appears in the clouds and redeeming the elect. So with that being said, every piece is part of this puzzle. You can see it. laid out, starting to look clearer and clearer every day.
नेशन के लिए काम करेंगे जिससे बिजनेस कम्युनिटीज इसका पूरा लाभ उठा सके। फ्रेंड्स, टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन हमारी पार्टनरशिप का इंजन है। एआई, क्वांटम, स्पेस और सिविल न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी जैसे क्षेत्रों में हमारे सहयोग की अपार संभावनाएं हैं।
Today here in Rome, we are further strengthening our relation all the way up to the special strategic partnership, the highest ever reached in the relations between our two nations. So I think it's safe to say that now Italy and India are closer than they have ever been. Our relations...
One thing I do know is that, the MOTB is around the corner. But something major has to happen in order for that to happen. And I believe the sequence of events is, when they make the war official, which is still in the background right now. Esau Edom is not going to have his plan go as smoothly as he think it is. Because if it goes smoothly like he think it is, then won't be nobody left on earth. He would have done away with the elect of the children of Israel. So, Yahweh Shem Yahushua speeding up the time for the elect's sake.
Are now capable of expressing their fullest potential.
Well, both leaders also published a joint op-ed across multiple international news platforms. They laid out an expanded roadmap for the India-Italy cooperation against the backdrop of an emerging economic corridor. At the heart of this vision is the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or the IMEC, which both countries described as a transformative project designed to redefine connectivity between Asia, the Gulf region and Europe. Now, this IMEC project, remember, was first announced on the sidelines of the G20 summit in New Delhi in September of 2023, and it is now being positioned as one of the most ambitious global connectivity initiatives of the decade.
Apparently you can go from zero to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible.
India and Italy have said that they are committed to working with international partners to turn this massive economic and infrastructure vision into a reality. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor is essentially a massive transnational connectivity project which is designed to link India, West Asia and Europe through a modern multimodal transport network. The project was officially launched during the 2023 G20 summit to create a faster, more efficient and more secure. India and Italy have said that they are committed to working with international partners to turn this massive economic and infrastructure vision into a reality. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor is essentially a massive transnational connectivity project which is designed to link India, West Asia and Europe through a modern multimodal transport network. The project was officially launched during the 2023 G20 summit to create a faster, more efficient and more secure trade route between the three regions. The entire corridor is expected to span...
I thought so. That's that MOTB. Like I say, something major has to happen for that. And I believe that the trigger would be World War III. That when that happens, it's America's sinking now. But when that happens, a bend versus a break, those are two totally different things. Okay, America's bending down and declining right now, but everybody putting their money in the war, it's going to crack all their economies, or most of them. And they all going to come together. Either they're going to have a breaking point where they're going to pause, and then resume later with the MOTB, but I don't believe it's going to be layered smoothly. I believe it's going to be extremely rough. Look at the gas prices now. Just imagine once it jumps up to $20 a gallon. All hell gonna break loose in the street. Okay, 10 is pushing it, but if you get to $20 a gallon, a lot of people not gonna be able to go outside because it's gonna be some shit going down.
And around 6,400 kilometers and will be divided into two major routes, the East Corridor and the Northern Corridor. Now, IMEC is not just about moving goods. It's also about building the digital energy and economic networks of the future. The project plans to include undersea and land-based digital cables that will significantly boost data connectivity between India, West Asia and Europe. The IMEC initiative, remember, brings together India, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Italy and the European Union together. But even as high-level diplomacy and global connectivity dominated this visit, it was a light-hearted moment between Prime Minister Modi and the Italian Prime Minister that ended up literally breaking the internet today. During his visit, PM Modi presented Giorgia Meloni with a packet of Parle's popular Melody toffee. Soon, it went down as a playful nod to the viral...
Let me pause. You see these uniforms? Okay? These uniforms have to be put together a specific way. The guns have to be assembled a specific way with very low tolerance to them. The armor, the tanks, the training, all that shit costs money. There's no such thing as a country with a military that don't have no goddamn money. They spending trillions of dollars collectively between all these nations preparing for this war. You got to move your troops here. You got to move your troops there. You got to feed them. You got to station them. You gotta train them. Come on, man. This is money. This all this shit right here, this is money. For a person to go into the military and agree to lose his life, that he can possibly lose his life over some bullshit. The government's paying them, but you gotta do 20 years. You have to do 20 years to get a pension. 4 years not cutting it. That GI Bill, that ain't shit. A good $1,400 a month, that's nothing. You have to literally live in the army, in the military, for 20 years to get a pension. And a lot of people don't understand you have to sign up at 18. At 38, you good to go. But you got to survive these tours. I digress. Come on.
Hashtag Melody trend that combines the names Modi and Meloni. In fact, the Italian Prime Minister later shared the video of the moment on social media where both leaders could be seen smiling and holding the toffee packet.
Prime Minister Modi brought us a gift, a very, very good toffee. Melt.
Now, this hashtag melody trend itself first exploded during the COP28 summit in Dubai in 2023, when Georgia Melanie had posted a selfie with Prime Minister Modi captioned, "Good friends at COP28, hashtag melody." This hashtag quickly turned into a massive online phenomena and has remained popular ever since. After the video went viral, shares of Parle Industries hit the 5% upper circuit as well. However, there was one little important twist. Parle Industries actually has no connection to Melody Toffees or to Parle products. The Melody brand is actually owned by the Parle Products, which is the Mumbai-based FMCG giant.
Tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now let's give him context. I'm giving Tony access to the relevant boards, let's say
anytime you assemble a bunch of people, in most cases, not only they're doing it for a particular purpose, but there's money involved. There's always been money involved. It's not like the ancient wars where you stepped on somebody's toe and now, you got one nation fighting against another nation. It's not like that no more. It's about consuming resources and being the top dog, one or the other.
Moving on, anger over America's war with Iran is now spilling into the heart of Washington. Questions are growing over U.S. President Donald Trump's strategy, and the political backlash inside America appears to be intensifying further. During a heated U.S. House Armed Services Committee hearing, Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton,
just like what the apostles say, we love this man. Keep doing what you're doing. Do more of it. Because the more you do your wickedness, the more you do things that push us further. And they know they're not stupid. They hire Israelites that know the scriptures, okay, regardless of how they look, regardless if they look like an Edomite. They're hiring. It's not scholars that they're hiring. They have deep knowledge and records. Of the scriptures. And they're doing everything in their power to go against it.
clashed with the Central Command commander, Admiral Brad Cooper, over the human cost of this war. Here's a look at the exchange.
I would like to know how many more Americans we have to ask to die for this mistake. Do you know? I think it's an entirely inappropriate statement from you, sir. With all due respect. With all due respect, it's not a statement. It's a
Remember, this hearing took place just after Donald Trump said that he had paused planned military operations against Iran at the request of the Gulf allies of America, who wanted diplomatic talks with Tehran to continue. At least 14 U.S. service members have died in combat since the United States launched Operation Epic Fury on the 28th of February. Bolton, who's a Marine Corps Iraq War veteran and known to be a sharp critic of the Trump administration's Iran policy, accused the U.S. government of failing to control the escalating consequences of the Iran war. He raised concerns over the instability in the Strait of Hormuz, the soaring energy prices, and reports claiming that Iran had rebuilt parts of its missile network. Admiral Cooper rejected all of these claims and insisted that American forces had met their military objectives. In fact, he also dismissed reports about Iran restoring key missile sites as, quote, inaccurate.
This is Joel 3:14. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. So, fuck what they're talking about. Let's get this shit cracking.
A ranking Democrat on the committee further pressed Cooper for information on the Minab school bombing in March that killed more than 165 people, including school children. Cooper said that the bombing is still under investigation.
It's a complex investigation. The school itself is located on an active IRGC cruise missile base. So it's more complex than the average strike. As soon as we're complete, I'm fully committed to transparency, given your important oversight role and the other members here.
Iranian Foreign Ministry slammed the claim by the U.S. Central Command that the Minab Girls' School was situated on a cruise missile base and called it, quote, a baseless fabrication and an appalling lie. The anger regarding the Iran war is also growing within the American public. A New York Times Siena poll shows that most voters believe that Trump made a wrong decision to go to war against Iran. Only 30% think Trump's decision to go to...
No, the fuck he didn't. He made the right decision to go to war. We want you to go to war. The sooner you get this shit cracking, the sooner we can get the fuck up out of here. Stop dragging your goddamn man, boy. Hey, the water y'all by Shimmy Shah, that we see the downfall of this fucking devil.
To war with Iran was the right decision, while the majority says that the war is not worth the cost, with only 31% of Americans approving how Trump has been handling this entire war.
You know, with that, I end that, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Krakadosh. Again, double honors to the apostles. And